It happened years ago, maybe decades. You were in a room full of people, and something went wrong. You said the wrong thing, or your voice cracked, or someone laughed when you weren't expecting it. The details are probably still sharp. The exact words, the sound the room made. You remember it perfectly. But you cannot remember what you had for breakfast 3 days ago. You cannot remember the name of the person you met at that party last summer. You cannot remember most of last Tuesday at all. The real reason your brain works this way has nothing to do with bad memory. It has everything to do with survival. Your brain is not a recording device. It was never designed to store everything equally. It was designed to keep you alive. And for hundreds of thousands of years, the most dangerous thing that could happen to you was not a predator and not a storm. It was being rejected by the group, being laughed at, being seen as weak or broken. Because a human alone on the savannah did not survive for very long. Embarrassment is the alarm your brain fires when it detects a threat to your social standing. And your brain treats that alarm the same way it treats every other survival threat. It burns the memory in. Your brain has a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Neuroscientist Joseph LeDoux at New York University spent decades mapping how it processes threatening information. The amygdala does not just detect threats, it tags memories. When something emotionally significant happens, it signals the hippocampus, the part of your brain that consolidates long-term memory, to hold on to this one. Do not let this go. The stronger the emotional charge, the deeper the memory gets encoded. A quiet Tuesday afternoon fades within days. But the moment you tripped in front of the entire cafeteria at 13, that got a full volume alarm. That memory was treated like critical survival data. And your brain has been keeping it sharp ever since. Think about what social failure actually meant for your ancestors. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar found that humans evolved to live in tightly bonded groups of roughly 150 people. In a group that small, your reputation was everything. If people thought you were unreliable or foolish, you might be excluded from hunts, overlooked when food was shared, or lose the alliances that kept you safe. Social humiliation was not uncomfortable. It was a legitimate threat to your life. So your brain built a system to make sure you never forgot it. Psychologist Elizabeth Loftus at UC Irvine found that memories are not static recordings. They are reconstructed every time you recall them. Every retrieval is a re-encoding, which means every time you cringe at something from 15 years ago, you are making that memory stronger. You are resaving it with higher priority. The very act of being mortified by a memory makes the memory worse. And your brain distorts it too. Psychologist Thomas Gilovich at Cornell showed something called the spotlight effect. When people make a social mistake, they massively overestimate how much others noticed. In one study, participants who wore an embarrassing t-shirt estimated half the room had noticed. The real number was closer to 20%. You were not at the center of everyone's attention. You never were. Your brain inflates the audience and the judgment, because that is what kept your ancestors safe. Everyone else forgot within minutes. But you remember it forever. Your brain is keeping score in a game that everyone else stopped playing. The reason you cannot simply decide to stop reliving these memories is that they are stored in a part of your brain that does not respond to logic. Your prefrontal cortex can understand perfectly well that something from 2009 no longer matters. But the amygdala speaks the language of survival, not reason. It is still on watch, still keeping the file open. This is why embarrassing memories surface when you're trying to fall asleep. The prefrontal cortex winds down and the threat detection system runs louder. Every replay is your brain trying to protect you, rehearsing what went wrong so you never make the same mistake again. You are not broken because you remember that moment so clearly. Your brain was doing exactly what it evolved to do. The problem is that it is still running threat detection software for a social world that no longer exists. The group has expanded from 150 people to 8 billion. The stakes of any single social failure have never been lower. but your amygdala has not gotten the update. So the next time a memory surfaces at 2 in the morning, sharp and burning and determined to stay, remember what it actually is. It is your survival system doing its job with spectacular precision in a world it was never designed for. Everyone in that room forgot about it years ago. Your brain just never got the message